Hi everyone, it's Jade. Thank you so much for joining me here today for another one of my free tarot seminars that come every month. I am so excited to be doing today's seminar because I'm going to be doing a mixture of tarot business questions for those of you who want to start and run online tarot businesses, as well as the tarot practice questions. So these are questions that I get asked in my courses that I know are going to be really beneficial for anyone who is trying to improve their tarot readings, because they're little nuances that we don't often consider when we are learning tarot, or even if we've been practicing tarot for many years. So today I'm going to be talking about, does placement order matter when you are reading tarot spreads like the Celtic Cross? Like, do you have to use it in a particular chronological order in order for it to be accurate? I'm also going to be talking about whether or not you should be selling on Etsy and Fiverr if you're trying to sell your tarot services, and some additional tips on how to best do this and what to avoid. I'm going to be talking about the court cards and what to do if there are multiple court cards in your tarot reading and what that can mean. I'm going to be talking about the Hermit, so exploring what it means when there are multiple interpretations of the Hermit and how to choose the right one and why there can be multiple interpretations. And I'm going to give you some extra special tips on how to journal with the tarot so that you can become a more effective and accurate tarot reader. Now, if you are joining me live, please do pop a comment in to say where you're joining me from and say hello. And if you are on the replay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit hashtag replay below so I can come back in and answer any questions you've got. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I have been blessed enough to have taught over 85,000 students around the world how to read tarot like an expert, how to connect with their guides and angels, and how to run tarot businesses. And I also am the founder of the Psychic Healing Academy, which is my VIP advanced level tarot certification program, which also comes with psychic business training and business coaching as well. So today what we're going to be talking about is, I'm going to be answering the question of, what do I need to do when I'm following tarot placements and the order? So one of my tarot card success students asked this question for me a couple of weeks ago, saying, do I need to read the Celtic Cross in the order that you taught me? Because someone online has taught me different. I've seen other ways that other readers do it that are different to you. Now, this is a great question, and it actually can answer many different questions for those of you who get confused about the way maybe I teach, if you've done my courses, or the way another tarot teacher teaches, or someone else who's reading online on YouTube. And for me, when you are starting in the beginning, so Tarot Card Success is a foundation level course. When you are starting in the beginning, I highly recommend that you just follow the placement of one teacher. If you are doing a spread like the Celtic Cross or the Horseshoe, just follow the beginning initial placement, because that will give you a more solid grounding foundation to be able to see how the cards are all working together in the order, in that very basic order. Now, if you go on to do some of my higher level courses on Udemy, like my career level course or my more advanced love readings or health readings, you'll see that I do it a bit differently. And that might confuse you. You might be like, well, why do you change the order in which you're reading when you're doing your sample readings? And that's because as you get more practiced and as you get more fluent with the tarot, you will start to notice when you're answering a question that a particular card will jump out at you. And you'll be like, oh my goodness, this actually is really important. And I need to let my client know up front that this is what's going on. And so something might be more relevant to the question or the context or what's going on for them. So say, for example, they have come to you and they're really distressed because they've broken up with their partner. And what you are seeing is something in the present happening. So, maybe the grief, maybe it's the Three of Swords, but you're seeing their hopes and dreams. Maybe that's the Four of Wands. So say, more commitment, but they're feeling, so say the feeling card is they're feeling the Four of Cups. So maybe things weren't moving fast enough in this connection, or they're not getting enough clarity. So rather than go into the past, so what's happened in their relationship in the past, or maybe what's happened in the last 18 months, which is the past card, I might start to focus on connecting those three cards together straight from the get-go, because I want them to know that I'm understanding what they're feeling and thinking and what they're hoping for and what's going on in the present, more than the past. But sometimes in a different question, so say, for example, someone's come to me and it's a job question, I can see, okay, what's been their job history in the past, and I might start with a past card, so the most recent past, and then go to maybe the near future, and then dance around a bit. Now, if this is confusing you because you're a total beginner, please don't worry. As you practice more, you'll see what I mean. But the solid answer for that is, please don't feel like you have to do it exactly as an instructor like me or anyone else teaches you with the placements. But in the beginning, yes, follow one structured way of reading the cards in a chronological order. And then as you get more fluent with it, you'll notice intuitively you might just dance around a bit in how you present the cards or the reading or how it flows to your client. So I hope that has helped anyone who is wondering about, what order and why do some people do it differently. Now, I'm going to move on to talking about a tarot business question that I got asked by one of my coaching students this week. That's a really, really good question if you're wanting to sell your tarot readings. Before I do, if you are wanting to sign up for these free seminars, please do hit subscribe, or do go to saljade.com and go to freebies, because I run these seminars every month. If you're ever thinking, oh, I'd love to get more of this kind of information and get access to it in my inbox, and you can get the replays. So do go to that if you're thinking, I'd love to get some more access of this. Now, so let's look at this question. So as part of my Advanced Tarot and Psychic Business program, I will often do I'll do a whole thing on business coaching, like one-on-one business coaching with my clients and my students. And one of the questions I got asked by one of my students this week was, should I be selling my readings on Fiverr, and should I be selling my readings on Etsy? Now, this is a little bit of a complicated question, and the reason why is, once upon a time, I would have said, yes, go for it. And in fact, in my former webinars that I used to do, I used to talk about how that was actually a really good strategy. For me now, the online tarot world has changed dramatically. And since COVID, and I don't want to go negative, I just want to let you know that because there is so many people doing online readings now, and there is so many people advertising on these different platforms, that putting your effort and energy into Fiverr and Etsy can have a positive, but it can have a negative. And I'm going to give you an analogy. I want you to imagine that you've gone to a party and you've run into somebody who is a book publisher of a very successful book publishing company, and you say to them, hey, I've got a great idea for a book. It's about a boy wizard, and his parents die when he's young, and he's got these magical powers, and he goes to this school, and it's a boarding school, and it's in Scotland, and he makes friends, and he ends up defeating the person that killed his parents. And that bookseller would look at him and go, that's Harry Potter. And I go, no. You go, but it's set in Scotland. And again, so you can see where I'm going with this. If something has already been well established, it's going to be very hard for you to sell and market it in an oversaturated, very popular marketplace. And the issue with Fiverr, and I'm going to start with Fiverr because Etsy is a bit better, but with Fiverr, the problem is, and I'm going to talk from a personal experience that I had this week, not this week, a couple of weeks ago, where I went in to look for a service and I needed a written transcription of one of my courses. I went in there, and I don't have time to look through the 3,000 people who are selling their transcription services on Fiverr. I don't have that time. So I straight away go in and I click on the most popular, the best selling, the one with the most reviews, and I look at that as my objective. And then I compare prices. That is how an average person like me who spends a fair bit of time online and shops on Fiverr decides how they're going to purchase something. If you are selling tarot readings, you set up a shop on Fiverr, you're going to be not even showing up in the algorithm when someone types in tarot readings. You're going to be competing with people that have been on there for years, that have got thousands of 5-star reviews. So for me, that is going to be a little bit of a waste of your time. And now some of you might go, well, what if I drive traffic? What if I send people to my site? If I'm advertising on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'm saying to people, hey, this is how you can find me on Fiverr. All you're going to do, and I know this from my Udemy course selling, for me, I don't do Facebook ads for my Udemy courses, because all I'm doing is sending traffic that I'm paying to do to other instructors' courses. So they might see my course and go, oh, okay, there's a course. So I've sent them there. I paid for a Facebook ad and I've spent that time and energy, but they get in there and then they see 5 or 10, 15, 20 other tarot courses, and they get distracted because we're all little butterflies when we're online. We're all like, oh, oh. Now, mine is the top ranking course on Udemy. So I'm actually fortunate that they would see mine and then they might not get distracted. But people are very overwhelmed and fatigued in today's online market when they are buying things and shopping for things. And if there's too much choice, they're just going to shut down and go, I'm going to do this later. This is too hard. I don't want to spend all this time. So for me, it's a similar thing. You don't want to be investing your time sending people to Fiverr because they might just see someone else recommended that may be either cheaper than you or may have more reviews than you or more experience than you or offer something more, and you've just wasted your time basically and lost a potential client. So for me, unless you've already got a Fiverr thing in today's market, I would maybe not think about setting something up. I would be selling directly from your website or your Facebook instead, or your Instagram. I'd be doing it differently. Now, Etsy's a bit of another story. So I actually just had a coaching call yesterday, a business coaching call with one of my students who's signing up for the Advanced Tarot and Psychic Business program for the 2025 version. And she was talking to me about Etsy, and she had a great concept because she is selling more than just tarot readings. So the same thing that I just talked about Fiverr applies to Etsy in the way that there's already a lot of people selling tarot readings on there, but she has additional things, like additional things in her toolbox that she could drive traffic for that are a bit more unusual. So getting back to my Harry Potter reference, there's something that you need to be offering across all of your online tarot business experiences to get clients in that is rising above the crowd. And because she had some unusual aspects to her Etsy store that she was thinking of doing, like there was more than just straight tarot readings. And so I went through everything she did and said, this is how I feel like you should be presenting it. And you've got something in there, because she was talking to me about her experiences and what she's done as a tarot reader so far, that I said, that's what you should be making your primary focus, because that is what's going to draw people in, because hardly anyone is doing it and lots of people want it. So it's that demand supply feeling thing going on. So people demand what she has that's a little bit more unique. It's not just straight tarot readings, because there's so many people selling tarot readings. So yes, you can set it up on Etsy, but have something competitive. Look at something that is edgier, that is maybe not being sold by every single person that already has thousands of 5-star reviews. So I hope that has helped anyone who is thinking to themselves, okay, what do I, like, should I do Etsy? Should I do Fiverr? Yes, but you've got to be very, very original. And I would not spend a lot of money or time driving traffic to places like Fiverr where you can be undercut by other people. So I hope that has helped. So before I go on to continue, I'm going to be talking about the court cards. I'm going to be talking about multiple court cards, what happens when, and how to journal with the tarot, what also happens when you are looking at a card like the Hermit that has multiple interpretations, and how you can interpret it. So I'm going to be talking about that. And I'm also going to be announcing the 2025 Psychic, as I said before, the Advanced Tarot and Psychic Business Program has launched for 2025. It is now open with 7 group coaching calls for tarot coaching if you want more help from me with tarot coaching on Zoom, as well as private business mentoring. So that has just opened. I'll be talking about it more at the end, but you can also just go to saljade.com and you'll see that there as well. So let's look at talking about multiple interpretations. So I'm going to talk about a question I got from Gary this week on the Hermit. And in my Tarot Card Success course, I talk about how the Hermit means, it can mean solitude, it can mean you need to go within your cave, but it can also mean that you're feeling alone and unsupported. And so Gary naturally came back to me, as many students can when they get these multiple interpretations, and said, well, which is the correct one? Which is the real one? Now, the first thing I'm going to say is most tarot cards will have 2 or 3 different interpretations. And what will depend on the answer, the correct answer, or the answer that's most appropriate, is the one that resonates with the whole reading, with the one that maybe has confirmation cards in the whole reading. I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a minute. And the one that suits the question the most. So I'm going to give you an example. Say, for example, you have a single person has come to you and they want to know, am I going to find love this year? Am I going to meet someone special? And they get the Hermit. So for me, straight away off the bat, I don't need to go into you're going to be feeling alone and unsupported, because I already know they're single, so they probably already have that a little bit. But I'm going to be looking at that and going, this might be a time where you need to go into your cave before you're ready to meet someone. This feels like you're not quite ready. And I'd look at other cards around to confirm that. Now, confirming cards in the Hermit, for example, can be things like the Four of Swords, so a time out that you need to rest, the Eight of Cups, which is very closely connected to the Hermit, so walking away and being in that cave and being on your own. Now, say they are coming to you with a different question, like a job question, and they're saying something to you like, should I take this job? Like, is this the best job? I've been offered this new job or this new promotion. Should I take it? And they get the Hermit. So in that case, I'd be like, this is something where you may end up feeling like you are quite alone and unsupported because you're taking on a new position. I don't know. I would check about how much staff you have supporting you or how much mentoring you're going to be getting, or, you might feel like you're being thrown into the deep end with this job. So you can see how different interpretations, when they come up, can often just mean you've got to look at the context of the question and see if there's additional confirmation cards around them. So I hope that's helped for anyone that's ever been confused about why sometimes there can be different interpretations of the same card and how to pick the best one and the best one that will suit it. So the next question I'm going to talk about is journaling with the tarot. So those of you who have done my How to Read Tarot When You Struggle to Remember the Cards course, so this is a course for anyone who has memory issues when it comes to trying to remember all the cards. So it's about how to read tarot more intuitively. So that course, I have a tarot planner, like a bonus journal planner, where you can actually journal each of the cards and what it means to you. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips from that. And I'm also going to talk about just some of the things I talk about with connotation. So these two things of actual journal practice and connotation to enhance your tarot readings and make you a much more accurate tarot reader and do more insightful tarot readings. So the first thing I'll say is, if you haven't done that course and you're not really feeling like you want to do a course right now, then buy a special journal. Okay. Like, so for me, I have a beautiful Alana Fairchild one. It can be anything as long as it's something, and it can even just be a basic, $2 notebook, as long as you're only using it for your tarot readings. And what I would do is I would make sure that every time you do a reading, that you make sure that you put what the question is, the date is, and then I like to draw, and I'm a terrible drawer. Like, I draw like a kindergarten kid, who was failing kindergarten. So it doesn't have to be perfect drawings, but I just do little rough makeshifts of what the cards are, what the spread is, and I might even just write it. Like, I don't copy the card. I might play King of Swords, Ace of Cups, and I just write it in there just so it gives me that visual. And then I pop my comments about what I feel like this reading means, and I connect it together and write it down. And then in about a month, it doesn't have to be exactly a month, but in a few weeks to a month, I go back in and check and see how that reading is progressing. I see, that has unfolded and I'm feeling more like that. And I took the advice of that magician card and I have been manifesting more. And I comment on that too. So you're connecting your personal experiences. Now, this makes you such a better reader with other people because you get in the habit of connecting how things are working together in the tarot. Now, the second thing is connotation. And this is when you are looking at learning the tarot. So say you do a course like mine and like Tarot Card Success, and you start learning the cards. Now, rather than just learn it and jot down what you think it means, you start thinking, when has this happened to me? So let's just say the Three of Swords, getting your heart broken. Most of us know that experience. So I would connect that, this happened. When has the Four of Cups happened to me? So the Four of Cups is there where you're sitting there and you're feeling flat and unmotivated and you feel like nothing's moving along in your life and you're feeling a little bit like, God, is this ever going to get better? It's the same, and you're feeling very stagnant. So when in your life have you felt like that? And that's probably can be a lot. It might be right now. So jotting those connotations down of associating your personal life experiences with what the interpretation is will make you a much better reader. You'll remember it quicker. You'll also be able to have an empathy with your clients. You'll be able to understand because you've been through something similar. So that is a really great journaling practice for me, those two ones there that I suggest. Now, let's get to the court cards. Everybody's favorite. One of my students in my Tarot Mastery group, that's the group that's connected with Tarot Card Success, asked the other day, like, God, do I have to use the court cards? Can I just do them without the court cards? I might answer that question too. Look, if when you are beginning, for me, and I might get shouted out of town by a whole bunch of very experienced instructors here. For me, when you are beginning, I think you do what you need to do to learn. And if the court cards are overwhelming you, then temporarily leave them out while you are learning. But obviously, once you start charging money, you need to have that full picture in there. Now, John Holland has released the Psychic Tarot Oracle card. It's a tarot deck, but it's an oracle deck. Bit of like all the themes of the tarot within, with the tarot themes. He doesn't have the court cards in there, and I still have done. As those of you who've done my higher level courses on Udemy have seen, I use those all the time because they can get to the point very quickly, and they are great to use if you are someone who is a little bit scared of the court cards. But having said that, because we're going to be brave and we're going to conquer these court cards, what you need to think about with the court card, every time one comes up and you don't know if it's you don't know what it is. You're like, okay, is this a person? Is this someone? Is it something I am? Is it me? Is it a situation? Is it a personality thing I need to be more of? Think about the court cards as energy. Okay, so if you get multiple court cards, so this is the question I got asked. What happens if I get multiple court cards in a reading? So for me, multiple court cards in a reading will suggest very strongly that you have too many people in your kitchen that are impacting and influencing on your capacity to make decisions or to move your life forward. Like there's too much going on. It's too many people. So, and that might be a time where you need the hermit. You need to actually pull back and be on your own and make these decisions for yourself. So that can mean that lots of people are influencing what's going on. Now, sometimes that can be a good thing. Like if you've gone through a bereavement, for example, lots of people around you is a good thing because that's a support network. But a lot of the time, it can be quite chaotic having lots and lots. And by lots, I mean 5 out of 7. So say you do a horseshoe spread and 5 of them are court cards. That to me is a lot of court cards. If you look at statistically how many court cards exist so there's 16 court cards out of 78 cards. If you get 5 out of 7, that's a lot. So I would think of them as there's a lot of people around me right now. And one thing I always say about the court cards, go with your intuition, but also look at the question. So the question, like if you're a single person asking about your love life and you're getting people cards like kings and queens, that can often mean people are showing up in your life. So it's quite a simple equation. But if you're not sure, and those of you who've done my Tarot Card Success course, I do a system of pulling additional cards to verify. You can use that system, or you can actually just think about energy. Okay, so the energy of the Knight of Wands is around me right now, which is forward movement, physical relocation, things moving very fast and having lots of fiery energy. And it can often be, job, relationships, and, travel. So it's forward movement. That's the energy around this person right now. So if you get stuck, you can divert to that, harnessing the energy of that and making sure that you're not making the mistakes of the Knight of Wands, which is going out with too much fire energy because they're not the king yet and they're not the queen, but too much fire energy and burning out. So you can give that advice as well. So that's a great little hack if you're like, I don't know, what it is, or like what the answer is, what the correct answer is. So again, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'll just quickly do a quick check-in here. If you're joining me and you've got questions, pop them below. I love to come in and answer them for you. So I hope that's helped anyone that gets confused with the court cards. As I spoke about before, I have just launched and is opening in the next week the live version of the 2025 Advanced Tarot and Psychic Business Program. This is for anyone who would like to be certified at an advanced level with me in person, so I watch you read in person, and anyone who would like to start, run, and grow a profitable tarot business online. A lot of information in there in terms of not just the advanced tarot content, so not just symbology and those more esoteric efforts and advanced tarot and clairvoyant healing, but also I go into how to set up your YouTube channel, how to maximize your audience so that they will purchase readings off you, how to market yourself in a heart-centered way, how to avoid spending too much time on Facebook and Instagram, how to build your business in the short term and the long term so that you have a foundation that will keep bringing in income even when you are unwell, or even when you decide you need to take a break, or even when you don't want to be doing one-on-one anymore, or you feel like you need a break from doing so many one-on-one. So it's like taking the constant hustling out of being an online tarot reader. Now, if you're interested in this, it does come with business coaching. There is 2 versions of it. There is a version where you can sign up anytime in 2025, and that comes with 2 business coaching calls, an exam with me to get you certified, which can also lead to you being able to qualify others as tarot practitioners, as well as being on my recommended reader page and getting personalized feedback from me from your tarot readings, and 60 hours of content on how to set up your tarot business and all the subscriptions you need, all the tech you need, and how to do it in a way that's not overwhelming. So that is available. You can sign up anytime during the year. If you want to know more, the links are below, or you can reach out to sal@saljade.com. Now, if you would prefer to do it with some group coaching, so you feel like you'd love to do some Zoom coaching in an intimate small group with me, helping you with your tarot practice to build up your confidence, that starts on May the 1st. I'll be taking enrollments up to about May the 7th because that's when the first group coaching call will be. But officially it opens on May the 1st, and it has all that content that I just talked about with the evergreen version. Evergreen meaning you can sign up anytime, but it has 7 group coaching calls. So if you are interested in this, please do. You can either send me a comment below, or you can reach out at sal@saljade.com, or just go to saljade.com and go into the advanced tarot section. You'll see it in there. I'll pop the links all in there in case I've said that all wrong. So thank you again for taking the time. I hope this has helped you. I'm going to be taking questions live here. And again, as I mentioned before, if you want to get more of these, then do sign up on my freebies section, which is on my website, saljade.com, or you can just click subscribe and you'll get notified when they come. So let's have a look at these questions, my favorite thing to do. Albina, hello Martin, hello Marcy, hello Sharon, hello Amanda, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Albina, do you judge clients whether they are king or queen or a knight by how they look or how you ask them in age? Great question. Thank you. Look, I don't. And the reason is this is a very traditional way that I feel like the tarot was once taught. And I actually got taught this way. So I can see the merits in it and I don't rule it out. So those of you who don't understand what that means, what Albina's question is, it's like how some people say the King of Pentacles means a person with dark hair, and the Queen of Wands is going to be someone with red hair, and the Queen of Cups is going to be someone with blonde hair. So that's what you mean by appearance. I don't necessarily. I usually go more with quality. Quality. Personality quality. So what their qualities are is that personality. So for me, and sometimes star sign, but I really I get a bit annoyed when I see people reading, not judging, but when I see people reading on YouTube and they say things like, oh, okay, so they get a queen of wands. They go, oh, could be a fire sign, could be, and I think that just confuses people. I think it's the qualities that matter. So I would consider myself a bit of a queen of wands because I am a fire sign and I have those qualities. But I can also be very balanced by the queen of cups because I do this spiritual work and I do teach tarot and I am very much working a lot towards in my soul journey. So that's the queen of cups part of me and that kind of nurturing part of me. So to define a person by their physical traits is a bit limiting. People dye their hair, keep in mind, and I think it confuses people. I think the physical thing can come from psychic vision. So if you get a clairvoyant vision of someone with blonde hair or a clairvoyant vision of someone with red hair, then yes, and you have that as confirmation. But for me, generally, I go with the personality trait that they are most kind of like. Okay, so the most thing you think of them like, are they someone, so if it's a king of wands, are they someone in a leadership position or someone who is quite fiery and loves to travel and loves adventure? And that to me wins out the most is their personality type. That's how I would assess it usually. Now the age thing, that is a great question because you can get people in their 40s who act like knights. Like you can be dating someone who is acting like a knight and they haven't matured yet. So not always, but the general rule of thumb has traditionally been with tarot that up to 30 is a knight, and then beyond that is a king and a queen. But that's assuming that person has mastered those suits. And let's be frank, we I feel like when those definitions came about, decades and decades ago, it was taking into account that yes, most people, the majority of the population by the time they reached 30, were, in a family situation. They had reached that king and queen status. They had, they were working on a job, they had solid foundations. So that makes sense. But in today's day and age, 30, people are still getting started. Some people are still backpacking around the world. Some people might not have had a job more than a few casual months here and there for the last 5 years. So I think, or they might not have even had a very strong, solid relationship yet. They might never have lived with someone. So for me, yeah, it's a little bit limited to judge people by their age, but it can. I would say, like, so, and I always say this, my rule of thumb, I talk about this in my love readings course about how to give psychic love readings with ease. And that is, if you're asking a love question and you want a commitment from somebody and you get a knight, then unless it's the Knight of Pentacles, then you pretty much probably got someone who's not quite ready to be in a relationship, maybe of the level that you are if you're thinking marriage and moving in together. Because a knight is the teenager 20s version of dating. Okay, so not saying they'll never be the king or the queen, they'll never get to that higher level. It just means right now they're not at that level, and to keep that in mind. And the thing with the Knight of Pentacles is they might be someone who is moving very slowly, but is also quite focused on their career. So they're a bit more grounded, but they're quite career focused and not quite ready again to be a king-queen relationship. So they're not at that level. So I hope that's helped Albina in answering that question. That's such a great question. Do you teach how to answer yes or no questions? That is a great question. I'm so sorry. I haven't got my glasses on, and so I can't read. Or Maya. I hope I'm saying that right. Or Maya. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. My full name is a bit complicated too, so it can be offensive when people don't say it right. Look, yes or no, I teach it in my Master Multiple Choice Tarot Questions. So that's on Udemy. It's just called Master Multiple Choice Tarot Questions with Confidence or with Ease. And I go into how to answer those when you've got either yes, no, or, you have to choose between different options, how to get more detailed readings. The first thing I will say about yes or no questions is this. I would never answer a yes or no question on something that is life-changing and important. I would never answer it on something like, should I leave my marriage? I would never answer it on, should my degree be medicine or law? I would never do that, because this is you're gambling your life on one card, or you're gambling your life on the fact that our lives are very complicated and sometimes things can start up good. So say, for example, should I leave my job? It's a good one. You leave your job, you could be unemployed for 3 months. You leave your job, you could go to another job and it starts off really bad, but then gets good, but then gets bad and then gets good. And then you buy a house from the money, so it's good, but then you get sacked, so it's bad. So you can see that it's never going to, yes, no is too simplistic for the kind of life experiences and our soul journey that we are meant to have as human beings on this planet. What I prefer to ask always instead is, how will the path unfold if I choose this option? And I say what the option is, and then how will the path unfold if I choose this option? So, with yes, no, you obviously don't need to do that, because you just need to do one. How will the path unfold if I leave my job in the next 3 months or 12 months? Like, give it a time frame, because leave your job, you might leave your job in 14 months. So give it a time frame and make it a context relevant question, and say, how will the path unfold if I do this, and do it that way. Yes, no is too limited. When do I use yes, no in my personal life? Very quick things like, should I book this restaurant? Like things that are not going to ruin my life, like very simple things, not things that are going to cost me thousands of dollars if it's wrong, or things that need more complex analysis that basically sometimes we need to go through hard times to get to good times. I mean, that's the lesson of any learning to be in a relationship, learning to be in a career, learning anything, buying a house. We make mistakes, we learn. So I would never do it for big, serious questions, but I do it for very simple little things that, aren't too serious. I hope that's helped, sweetie. Hello, Kath. How are you? My sweetheart. Kath is one of my very, very early advanced tarot and psychic business program students. It's so lovely to see you. I love seeing you pop up and seeing your beautiful readings that you do on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to follow someone wonderful, follow Kath. Hello. So thank you, everyone. I hope that has helped. Now, again, if you are on YouTube, pop questions, I'll come back in and answer. I love to hear from you. Good to see your gorgeous face. Thank you. The Loving Lotus, that's the name, isn't it, of your shop and your business, The Loving Lotus. So giving a big shout out to the wonderful, oh, she's having a little break, but go and check her out. She's amazing. I absolutely love her energy, and I love watching her Facebook lives and her readings on Facebook and Insta. So thanks so much, everyone. Oh, my backdrop's wobbling. Thanks for joining me. As I said, do hit subscribe if you'd like to know more about getting these free tarot tutorials. And if you want to know more about the Advanced Tarot Psychic Business Program, if you're wanting to know if it's for you, I'm very open to jumping onto Zoom with you and doing a private call, because I don't like people to buy the program if it's not for them. I know what it's like to buy things and then go, that was a waste of my money and I should have. You do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you have 30 days to try it, but sometimes we're too busy to try it. So if you're really thinking, I'd like to invest in this and it might be for me, will it work for me, then do reach out to me and we can either have a private chat on Zoom or I can answer your questions on my email, sal@saljade.com. Thank you so much for joining me.